Throughout his first 2 NBA seasons, Victor Wembanyama has already established himself as one of the best defenders in the NBA, and possibly one of the best of all time. When it came to his impact on that side of the floor, I personally had no questions or worries. But when looking at Wemby's play on the other side of the ball, I thought there was generally lots of issues he was running into. For his size, it felt like he had a hard time controlling the game and providing steady offense. Plus, he was turning into one of the most high-volume three-point shooters across the league. While Wemby does have good potential as an outside shooter, I thought him taking 8+ threes per game was taking away from the truly dominant elements of his game. And in order for him to become more consistent, he was going to have to adjust his offensive approach. And that's exactly what he did in last night's season opener, where Wemby dropped an efficient 40 points, while only taking 2 threes throughout the entire night. Now across the NBA, there is simply nobody who can cover as much ground as Victor can with the ball. His feet here are right behind the 3-point line, and one slight miscommunication by the defense leads to a routine one-dribble tomahawk. This play here was also pretty wild, where Victor is going to lift up PJ Washington with a shot fake, and again, once he has space to attack the rim, it's pretty much a wrap. And what's also nuts here is that Victor takes this dribble from 17 feet out, and he can comfortably extend out and get this reverse dunk on the other side of the rim. With the ball in his hands, it's very clear that Wemby has improved his physicality off the dribble, where he's now taking these north to south angles and driving through contact. And what's really important about this is that this will lead to more contact and free throws. Wemby last year got to the line just over 4 times per game, which is simply not enough for all the overwhelming physical tools that he has. There is nobody else across the league who can do this to Anthony Davis, where on the break, he's going to push the ball across to his left, to then hit AD with this in and out. And again, he's embracing contact by taking the straight line angle, and like we all know, once he has 2 feet in the paint, it's over. And a pretty underrated part about Wemby is that he has good touch from 8 to 10 feet. So if the defense gets underneath him and holds their ground, he can still pick up and sink these soft push shots. And because Wemby is both bigger than everybody, and the defense is getting lower to hold their ground, he pretty much always has windows to get these shots off. Derek Lively here plays really good one-on-one defense, but when Victor picks up and gets into a 1-foot floater, he simply can't reach it. And Victor's ability to cover ground also allows him to create space in tight spots. AD is initially able to stay with him here on the shot fake and jab step, but as Wemby picks up and pivots out, that's just a really hard shot to contest. So Victor's improved strength and stability with the ball might make him the toughest one-on-one matchup in the league. His ability to cover ground allows him to capitalize on the smallest of angles. If you stay in front, he has really good touch from 12 feet and under, and him just generally looking to initiate contact more will lead to a lot more free throws. Now, despite all of these improvements off the dribble, I actually think Wemby does his best work roaming and being a lob threat off the ball. Simply put, there's just a vertical point that Wemby can get to that the defense can't. And if there's any space around the basket, it's pretty much a guaranteed 2 points. And Wemby is just as deadly if he can catch the ball with some momentum going towards the rim. And for his size, his hands and body control is really good. I like how he's going to lift up Lively with a shot fake, to then give it up and cut right back into that space. I also like this read here, where in early offense, he's going to kick it ahead, and this is meant to move PJ Washington off his spot, which then gives Victor all the space to cut into. And while Luke Cornett misses him here, I still love how he's trying to make the game easier. Now throughout this game, Wemby also found some success in the mid-range. In general, if his feet are set and he has good balance, I think these are for sure good shots for him. Obviously with his size and him having the ability to blow past the defense, he's going to have plenty of opportunities to get these shots off. For me, it's all about just not getting in the habit of settling for these looks too much. These are the kind of shots I don't want to see, where Wemby has Derek Lively isolated on the block, and instead of trying to initiate contact and get something at the rim, he takes one dribble uphill towards the free throw line and bails out the defense with this fadeaway. I think from this spot, Wemby is too talented to let the defense off the hook like this. Now, it's also important to note that Victor throughout this game did rack up plenty of highlights off the dribble. While it is very impressive for a guy of his size to have this good of a handle, I also have mixed feelings about this part of his game. Again, while the highlights are great, I still don't see a reason for him to be putting down the ball like a 7'4" Kyrie Irving. I think everything Wemby does off the dribble should be simple and direct. He's the tallest and longest player in the NBA, he has good quickness for his size, plus he has great touch around the rim. With all that in mind, I don't see a reason for him to be spamming 5 dribble combinations. But if the result is always going to be this good, I really don't have a reason to complain. Now, despite what everybody is saying, I still think Victor has some vulnerabilities with the ball. First, because he's so freakishly tall, it's naturally going to be easier for shorter and physical defenders to move him off his spot. I thought PJ throughout this game played by far the best defense on him, and while Victor is always going to have the ability to rise up from over the top, that to me is the lesser of two evils. Look how PJ is going to slide and eat that contact, forcing Wemby into a pickup. And from here, he gets pushed off bounce and forced into an awkward shot. Now, as the season goes on, it's inevitable that Victor is going to receive heavy double teams, and his ability to read the floor and force breakdowns might be the most important element in San Antonio's offense this year. In general, if Victor gets blitzed or forces heavy gap defense, he's more than willing to make the right play. But at the same time, I don't think he's a super advanced passer yet. He's going to force a double team here in the mid post. And from this spot, I would love to see him sprayed across to Harrison Barnes, which would then create a 3-on-2 advantage. But he makes the safe pass up towards the slot, which then gives the defense more time to get matched up. And if I had a nitpick, I also think Victor could get better at passing out of pick and roll. We'll see him here get the defense on his hip. From here, I would love to see him probe for a split second longer, which would pull this big up and force Cooper Flag on the weak side to make a decision. If he commits towards the paint, the skip pass is wide open, but then if he stays shifted out, the paint is then open for the roller. But in general, this was just a ridiculous game for Victor Wembanyama. I love how he's committed to playing more aggressive and looking to seek out contact with the ball, and I think if Victor is playing downhill and putting pressure on the rim, he should be the most dominant paint scorer across the league. His height and length is a cheat code. He can cover a ridiculous amount of ground with the ball. Plus, he has really good touch around the basket. I think if Victor can live in the paint while finding ways to sprinkle in his mid-range and outside scoring, he might be in the conversation for a top 5 offensive player in the game. And what's also scary about Victor's game is that you can make a case that all this stuff on offense is just a bonus. Because right now, he is clearly the best defender in the NBA. His ability to cover ground and protect the rim from all sorts of different angles is something we haven't seen before. He can rotate across from the weak side, make plays on the ball from behind, and when playing one-on-one against him in the post, there's no chance of getting any shots over him. Lively denied. What's also impressive is that Victor has really good instincts in the paint. Watch him shift across to stop Flag, and he's able to read his eyes and get a hand on this lob pass. Victor's improved strength on offense also carries over to his 1-1 defense. Watch him here slide and put his chest in front of AD, bumping him off his angle and forcing him underneath the basket. I also like this play here, where Flag is coming downhill full speed, and watch Wemby get into a vertical contest, and he's able to make that contact on his chest without fouling. And the thing is with Wemby on defense, is that he can be impactful without being involved in the main action, because his presence kind of has this force field effect around the basket, where instead of challenging him at the rim, the offense will elect to settle for more difficult pull-ups and floaters, which pulls the entire team's efficiency down. At the half. In this one. So for me personally, I always thought Victor was going to be a top tier defender, but I also thought his offense was pretty far behind his defense. But this was honestly the first game that I came away really impressed. We've just never seen anybody target and go at Anthony Davis like this, and I think if Victor continues to play aggressive and put non-stop pressure on the defense, while picking the right spots with his passing and outside shooting, this guy could be on his way to being the very best player in the league. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments who the kids should break down next. The kids here.